Welcome to Studio 5. Dennis Quaid, Rob Lowe, Arctic Dogs, and so much more. All are on deck for this week's show. So let's get things started and jumpstart this week's countdown of the top 5 stories in the world of uplifting entertainment. Here are the first 2. At number 5.
When God talks, you gotta listen.
That's actor and comedian Kevin Hart speaking out for the first time and filled with godly gratitude following the horrific car accident seen here in these photographs.
Some of the craziest things that happen to you end up being the things that you needed most. And in this case, I honestly feel like God basically told me to sit down. You know, when you're moving too fast and you're doing too much, sometimes you can't see the things that you're meant to see.
At number 4.
So you know Sesame Street is turning 50.
Huh.
Tell us your favorite Sesame Street memory.
The American childhood favorite turns 50 with a star-filled celebration.
Boing, 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 boing. This is a new way of playing, Alan, but I like it.
And the 50th season will add a new neighbor, the child of military parents.
Diversity and inclusion have always been important on Sesame Street.
Sesame Street's 50th anniversary celebration airs Sunday, November 17th.
But Oscar, well, he'll always be my very first friend on Sesame Street.
Hey, wrap it up, will ya, Fairy Wings? It's my turn now.
Hey, see what I mean?
And so begins this week's countdown. It's now time to turn things to what's new on the big screen. Midway turns the spotlight on American soldiers and pilots who changed the course of World War II during the Battle of Midway in June of 1942. With stars like Dennis Quaid and Patrick Wilson, here's your Studio 5 first look at Midway. Old photographs and newspaper clippings, memories of the miracle men of Midway, who used instincts, fortitude, and bravery to overcome the Imperial Japanese Navy and turn the tide of World War II in the Pacific, 6 months after Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor.
I can cut from this image.
Independence Day director Roland Emmerich brings the battle to the big screen in Midway.
The situation in the Pacific is far worse than reported.
Pearl Harbor is the greatest intelligence failure in American history.
Preset! Fire!
The Japanese are planning something bigger.
So what's the target?
We believe it's Midway.
Washington disagrees.
Washington is wrong.
So you're from Germany, correct? What was it about this piece of American history that fascinated you so much?
I kind of saw a documentary 20 years ago, and I was just amazed how many factors in one battle have to happen, what decides a battle, and I just liked the richness of the whole tapestry.
Emmerich uses the real-life experiences of those World War II leaders and sailors to tell this battle story.
Yeah, maybe it isn't Pearl.
Ed Skrein plays the role of dive bomber pilot and squadron commander Dick Best. Ed, describe Dick Best to me. He seems like quite a character.
I mean, we see a number of Dick Best in this movie, right? We meet him at the beginning as this New Jersey cocky flyboy, the type of guy who cuts out his engine when he's landing the plane just to prove to himself he can do it in case it happens in battle, you know? After Pearl Harbor happens, we see a relentless Best. We see him on a one-man mission to win the war all by himself, which we all know isn't possible. And then we see a fragile Best, you know, a lost Best, where he loses his confidence and this bravado, you know, due to fatalities and losses once he becomes a leader, you know, and after that we see him with the help of his best friend Clarence Dickinson, played so brilliantly by Luke. He gains this emotional intelligence, this emotional literacy, and becomes the leader that perhaps he was born to be and that his team needed.
Now Luke, you play Clarence. I understand you actually paid a visit to his grave in Hawaii?
I did.
What made you do that?
You know, I was here, we were filming in Hawaii for 2 weeks, and I just felt it was my duty to do that, you know. I don't know the man personally, and I don't know any of his family members, but I just wanted to pay my respects to him, and hopefully he's looking down upon me, giving me his approval, you know. So I just wanted to say thank you.
And best, I'm bumping you up from XO.
Dennis Quaid is Fleet Admiral William Bull Halsey.
There's another rumor that your life may be in danger.
Patrick Wilson is Intelligence Officer Edwin Layton.
For both of you, what would you say your characters taught you? For you, what did Bill Halsey teach you? For you, what did Edwin Layton teach you?
The dedication, the passion, the service to your country is something that that doesn't go unnoticed, I think, by us and by a lot of people that don't get the opportunity. Anytime it's country over politics. That's what patriotism is. It's certainly not about Washington. It's about this man-to-man relationship.
Yeah, I think it's a good reminder that there were times, and there still can be times, when our country is a united country in spite of differences of opinion and all the rest of that.
We got the order to launch.
We need to throw a punch so they know what it feels like to be hit.
We're talking about a couple dozen planes against a whole Japanese fleet. This isn't a fair fight.
Your thoughts on both of you, just the story itself. I mean, reading about it in history, to know that these men were outgunned, outmanned, I mean, 6 months earlier, and then they managed to pull this off.
War is chaos. You know, it's absolute chaos. And I guess what's really inspiring is that, you know, with the sheer unpredictability of so much, you still have people showing up and just doing their damnedest to do right by each other. And yeah, they were totally the underdog. It's a great underdog tale.
I don't know how to lead these men.
They'll follow you anywhere.
If you know that you came through when people are counting on you, you'll be able to face anything.
Do you think there was a bigger force guiding them?
I don't know, maybe, but they were, at that time, they were much more, you know, in tune with like religion, and that they went a lot to church, I know that.
Midway is in American theaters this weekend. Still to come.
I ended up with this like 7-foot tree that we like barely got into my apartment. We had to like chop parts of it off or whatever.
It's an unconventional Christmas.
You are coming home, right?
This year it's gonna be Christmas in Africa.
What is Christmas in Africa?
In a new film from Kristen Davis and Rob Lowe.
Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
At number 3.
What I love most about this event is that empathy and compassion for people that have served our country is a bipartisan position.
Monday saw a star-studded celebration at New York's Madison Square Garden, honoring America's veterans.
At this moment in, our American evolution, it feels more important than ever. All these young men and women who come home, having had the experiences that they've had defending our country and the freedoms that we celebrate, it's just uber important to me.
Recording artist Sheryl Crow joined Bruce Springsteen to perform during the 13th annual Stand Up for Heroes benefit.
If I had not been hit by that bomb back in 2006, we would not have started this foundation.
At number 2.
And I'm just asking that we send up prayers for her family and for his.
The Gospel Music Association's president has issued a formal apology to Kirk Franklin and others left disappointed that his calls for prayer and racial justice were edited out of his awards speech. 15-time Dove Award winner Lecrae is one of the first artists to join Kirk Franklin in protest. What do you think has to happen now? You both have called for restoration unity. How do we get there?
Yeah, I think with this particular situation, it's going to take some serious dialogue and conversation. And some of those conversations have already begun. But I do think the bigger issue's got to be seen. And it's not, oh, we're sorry, here's the speech. It's acknowledging what it meant to cut that speech off. It's acknowledging what it meant to not be aware that this was something devastating.
Now that leaves us only one more story in this week's countdown. Be sure to stick around for that. We now turn things to the small screen, like your tablet or your phone, where many of you like to tune in to Netflix. And there, it is beginning to look a lot like Christmas. The streaming service is rolling out lots of family-friendly holiday entertainment. Rob Lowe and Kristen Davis are the stars of one of them. We're catching up with the two of them for a look at Holiday in the Wild in this week's Studio 5 Bright Spot.
So you're vacationing in Zambia, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let me guess, you're from LA? New York.
Yes.
I take it Mr. Conrad won't be joining us?
2 days ago, he told me that our marriage was over. 2 hours ago, I landed here on what was supposed to be our second honeymoon by myself.
A lot of people come here to get lost so they can be found again.
Thank you, Yoda.
Holiday in the Wild, take me back to the beginning of you two's meeting. It's sort of my favorite. You don't like each other very much, do you?
Oh, in the film.
In the film.
No, we actually don't like each other for real.
Oh. It takes a turn.
It takes a turn. Yeah, it's you know, this movie has all of the classic, you know, hallmarks of those romantic, you know, movies, and you know, you have to start with them not liking it. This was the hardest acting I had to do.
Oh, you're coming on this too?
Yep. Derek Hollinsworth, in case you want to write my name down on a complaint form.
Oh, you're the pilot.
We're flying over the largest game reserve in Africa.
Hang on, gotta make a stop.
What? A stop? Where?
Stay in the plane. He'll come back. Poachers killed the mama for tusks. If we don't do something to help that baby, he'll be dead in 2 days.
I want to help.
Didn't see that one coming. Hi, Mom. How's Safari?
Well, I took a little detour. Is he gonna be okay?
It'll be touch and go for a while, but we will do our best.
I'm in this place surrounded by wild animals.
Hey, New York.
Oh, sorry.
What's it like with working with the animals?
Well, you know, it's her lifelong passion, elephant conservation. I mean, she's been doing this for years and years and years. It's the entire reason the movie was made in the first place.
Thank you.
It's the entire reason the movie was made the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so to help fulfill her vision was really, really cool to be a part of it.
And it's always amazing. I mean, the nice thing is that we got to film in 2 places that are actually rescuing elephants and re-releasing them into the wild, and also in amazing places which actually had the Big 5. And if they didn't have the Big 5, had giraffe. We had like giraffe everywhere we went following us. That's why there's so many shots of giraffe, because they were like, what are they doing? What are they doing? They were so cute. And that part is just a magical element that I love so much, and Rob embraced in its entirety, which was amazing to see. And he took his whole family. Everyone loved it. And I think our crew loved it. I mean, everyone would like stop and take pictures. It was just such a unique and once in a lifetime, as you have said. And for me, also just, I didn't know if we would ever get this film made. Wow. The way that it should be made. And we're so lucky that Netflix and that Rob stepped up, because if Rob hadn't joined us, I don't know that we would have gotten it made. So I'm still pinching myself. And when I look over there, Holiday in the Wild, I'm like, oh my God,
it happened.
We are coming home, right?
This year it's gonna be Christmas in Africa.
What is Christmas in Africa?
Well, I can't speak for the whole continent, but here at the Elephant Orphanage, they celebrate all week, and there is no shopping involved.
I'm really starting to worry.
This is an unconventional Christmas, if you will. Do you recall in your own lives an unconventional Christmas?
Probably. I'm a big traditionalist. I've had Christmases in places that don't seem Christmas-y, like Hawaii. Africa would be one of them. But I love the tradition of Christmas.
This is how it starts. We meet an elephant, and so begins the relationship of a lifetime. Take good care of my elephant.
Our elephant. He and I were just friends.
I haven't seen you let someone in a long time. If I have learned anything, it's to not get too attached.
I never meant to stay this long.
You're falling in love.
Huh?
With Africa.
Holiday in the Wild is streaming right now on Netflix. Now, before we take a break, it is time to say it in pictures. Here's this week's Studio 5 Snapshot.
Basketball fans will likely recall these photo memories of Lamar Odom on the court for the Los Angeles Lakers. But here are some more recent pics from Odom's Instagram page, taken at a church in Ohio over the weekend, with the message, "Nowadays, I'm doing the best I can, walking with the Lord." They're this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. Coming up.
It's gonna be me one day.
Not on my watch. Back to work. We're chasing the celebrity voices.
I like Magda very much. She's no nonsense.
And making sense of Arctic dogs.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.
This is CBN News Watch.
Thanks for joining us.
Watch breaking news, exclusive stories and programs, credible news reporting.
We show you what's happening in the world and how you can pray about it.
This is CBN News Watch, because truth matters. Weekdays at 5 on the CBN News Channel.
When I came to Regent University, it's like the world opened up. I felt like I needed to advance my career and go back to school. Regent was a perfect fit for me. The Regent professors are world class. You are equipped. The focus of the faculty is on each individual student, whether it's online or in person. You become a part of Regent's family. You carry with you not just the content and the knowledge, but the confidence to understand that we can be significant in the world.
Regent University. Follow your path.
At number 1, and just in time for Veterans Day.
There's this kid. He didn't think he could cut it.
Another look at the new film Midway, based on the World War II battle and featuring real-life stories of dive bomber pilot and squadron commander Dick Best and pilot and lieutenant Clarence Dickinson.
What would you say Dick Best taught you, and what would you say Clarence taught you?
Oh, what an interesting question.
Yeah.
A really wonderful question, my friend. I mean, this experience taught me so much. I got a real insight into the military, you know, spending so much time with them, you know. Both my grandparents, my grandfathers fought in the Second World War for the British Army and the British Air Force. My grandmother was in the Land Army. And, you know, that was always something I knew was a big part of my family history, but, you know, I haven't been exposed to the military, and especially the American military.
It gave me a sense of peace, knowing that an ordinary man, being the underdog, set in these circumstances, can accomplish what he did and do it for the ones that he loves.
And that wraps this week's countdown. In case you missed it, we wanted to point you in the direction of Arctic Dogs. It's an animated family film about a lively bunch of animals living in the frozen tundra. The voices of these furry friends include Alec Baldwin, Heidi Klum, and Angelica Houston. Take a look.
So, who's gonna be a good boy? Who's gonna be top dog? Oh, that's you. Oh, look at me. Oh, no, that's you. Top dog. You are. Top dog! I got a package, I got a sled, I'm ready to go. Wah! Top dog! Is that an earthquake?
The film is about an Arctic fox named Swifty.
That's me. Talk about bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Swifty must band together with his friends in order to stop an evil walrus from melting the polar ice caps.
Time to break the ice. We gotta do something.
Swifty is an Arctic fox, genetically predispositioned to be invisible. And none of these things kind of help his confidence, because all he wants to be is seen.
It's gonna be me one day.
Not on my watch. Back to work.
Angelica Houston plays Magda. She's this taciturn caribou.
Now listen.
We're listening.
Stop doing that.
I like Magda very much. She's no nonsense, and she has to kind of give over the business to this small Arctic fox.
Don't you worry, Magda. You won't regret this.
Heidi plays two separate characters in the movie. She plays Jade, and she also plays Bertha. And you couldn't really have two different characters.
I must say I'm impressed. You know, when I first read for the movie, I had a small part, Bertha. She's German and she's an otter.
I am Bertha and this is my life partner Leopold. And together we uncover conspiracies.
Then I said, who is actually doing the lead? Who is Jade? Who is the fox? And they're like, well, we're still casting. We don't know. And then I said, please, can I also try for that part? And they said, well, you have a part already. And I'm like, well, but I could try and I could change my voice.
What? Really?
And so they sent me over the lines and I tried out for it and I got the part. The movie is about saving the Arctic, which also in real life, you know, it's melting away.
It's something I feel rather passionate about. And I hadn't actually seen an animated film deal with that issue.
Because animation is so approachable and kind of open to everyone. So I think this is a great way to get this topic onto their mindset.
I like very much when important messages are sort of couched in popular film or in cartoons, because I think it makes it not only accessible for children, but also for their parents.
It doesn't hit the audience over the head with the issue or get preachy about it, but I think if kids are picking up on that message, I think that's a very good one for them to take away.
Doing something like this gives you a sort of opportunity to flex my muscles in other directions other than just film acting. Because cartoons are emphatic, it's very fun to go over the top.
Magda, look, I worked really hard for this. It's not fair.
Life is not fair.
And it's great because no one really gets to see all those strange faces that you're making while you're saying your lines. So you have this freedom and you can just play.
It appears the shadowy conspirators are finally coming to light.
And it's fun because you work with so many creative people from the production side with their designers, the directors, and the artists, and then you get to come and work with the talent that brings those characters to life.
Must have been exciting, though.
It's a great cast. I can't wait to hear all the things that they've done.
Like I said, we made it.
I was so nervous, but we got the job done. It was a lot of fun.
You are truly one of us now.
I think a movie like this is not only fun, but it's educational.
Magda not moose. Magda caribou.
It has a good message, which is that you should really accept yourself for who you are. At the end of the day, chasing after fame and celebrity, it's an empty pursuit.
And I really do hope that people just come away with a smile on their face and maybe an idea towards the bigger picture of the environment and what we can do to protect it.
And Arctic Dogs is playing in American theaters right now.
We're heading back to Hawaii and the set of Midway.
I think my character is going through the kind of mindset of he's with this incredible pilot. What is he contributing?
For final thoughts on the greatest generation as we approach Veterans Day.
Yes, right on time.
From Superbook.
Pepper's Pizza Palace is donating pizza for everyone today. Wait. I have big plans today.
Trust in God even when times are tough. He has a plan for your life.
Hey, we're gonna be late for the grand opening. My parents want me to help with this outreach thing, feeding the community. What am I supposed to do here? Superbook!
Join the Superbook Club and get Superbook The Birth of Moses, plus 2 copies to share with others, all for your gift of only $25.
Pharaoh ordered all newborn Hebrew boys thrown into the Nile River, and I have a 3-month-old brother.
The Birth of Moses. Yours for a gift of only $25.
What will you do the next time the soldiers come? I do not know, but I trust God has a plan for all of us.
Superbook Club members, free streaming for seasons 1, 2, and 3 is now available.
And welcome back to Studio 5. Music fuels this weekly production, and having just brought you a look at the animated film Arctic Dogs, a single from its soundtrack is what's playing in my ear. Take a quick sample of Believer.
Just let me get on my feet, 'cause I got something that we need. I wanna make you a believer. I'm on my way, I won't be late. I wanna make you a believer. Carry the weight, make you believe it.
Now, on that musical note, we are almost out of time for this episode of Studio 5, so here's a look at what we're working to bring you come next week.
So I saw your vision board, and the more crystallized the vision of that future you is, the more clear the steps to become that will become.
Actor Ashton Kutcher's latest role is rescuing young people from massive mountains of debt.
How many credit cards do you have?
10, 11, 12. 12.
So let me explain the way banks work. They don't want you to pay back the money fast.
We're taking you inside his series, Going From Broke.
Certainly hope you'll join us for that and so much more come next week. As for the final word for this show, we turn things back to the cast and director of Midway and America's Greatest Generation.
How reliable are these estimates of the Japanese position?
They represent the best guess based on the intelligence that we have.
I always like think, every World War II movie in a way reminds us that national leads to, sometimes fascism, and it's against democracy. So they were fighting and giving their life for democracy.
Sully, get up.
Heroism is displayed through all manners of protocol. Everybody has a different way of trying to do right by their own.
To Roy, may you get to heaven before the devil knows you're dead.
The issues that we're dealing with today and the way people talk to each other, and that was going on back then too. It takes something like this, unfortunately, for us to come together. But when something like this happens, this country does come together with all its diversity and all of its might, and does the right thing.
Welcome to the most difficult job in the world.
Now that's a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone around you, and then come on back. See where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.